Rome crushed Carthage. Rome conquered Egypt. Rome ruled the Mediterranean world. Kingdom after kingdom fell before its legions. But deep in Africa, they met a queen who would not kneel. Her name was Amanirenas, and she made Rome bleed. It was 24 BCE. The Roman Empire was expanding south after taking control of Egypt. The Nile had become Rome's new frontier, and Rome believed the lands beyond it would fall just as easily. But south of Egypt stood a powerful civilization, the Kingdom of Kush, an African empire with deep roots, wealthy cities, and a proud warrior tradition. Its capital was Meroë. Its people were skilled archers. Its rulers were known as Kandakes, powerful queen mothers who ruled in their own right. And at this moment in history, Kush was led by one of its fiercest rulers, Queen Amanirenas. Rome demanded tribute, gold, submission, recognition of Roman authority. To Rome, this was normal. To Kush, it was an insult. Amanirenas refused, not quietly, not diplomatically, but with war. Kushite forces crossed into Roman-controlled territory in Egypt. They attacked frontier cities. They struck swiftly. They captured statues of Emperor Augustus. And in an act of pure defiance, they carried one statue back to Kush. According to historians, the head of Augustus was buried beneath temple steps, so that every Kushite citizen would walk over Rome, every single day. This was more than rebellion. It was humiliation. Rome could not ignore this. Augustus ordered a response. Roman legions marched south under the command of Gaius Petronius. They expected another easy victory. They were wrong. The Nubian desert was harsh. Hot winds, endless sand, long supply lines stretching back toward Egypt. Kushite forces knew this land. They moved quickly. They used archers with deadly precision. Roman soldiers trained for organized battlefield formations now faced a mobile enemy in unfamiliar terrain. The war was not simple, it was not quick, and it was not one-sided. Petronius captured the city of Napata. Rome believed this would break Kush. But Amanirenas did not surrender. She regrouped. She continued resistance, and the war dragged on. This was unexpected. Rome rarely struggled against smaller kingdoms, yet Kush refused to collapse. Something remarkable happened next. Instead of total conquest, negotiations began. Envoys were sent, terms were discussed, and eventually, a peace treaty was signed. The outcome shocked many historians. Rome did not demand tribute. Rome did not fully annex Kush. Rome agreed to peace without crushing the kingdom. In fact, some records suggest the treaty favored Kush. Rome pulled back its demands. The border stabilized, and Kush remained independent. This matters because Rome was not in the habit of backing down. Across Europe, across North Africa, across the Middle East, kingdoms fell. Leaders were executed. Cultures were absorbed. But Kush survived, under the leadership of an African queen. Amanirenas reportedly lost an eye during the conflict, yet she continued to lead, continued to resist, continued to negotiate from strength. She was not a symbolic figure. She was a wartime ruler, a strategist, a survivor. History textbooks often focus on Rome, on Augustus, on imperial expansion, but rarely do they highlight the kingdoms that resisted successfully. Rarely do they speak of African powers that stood firm. The Kingdom of Kush was not a minor tribe. It was an organized state, with wealth, architecture, trade networks, iron production, and military strength. It had already ruled Egypt centuries earlier during the 25th dynasty. It had its own culture, its own writing system, its own identity. And under Amanirenas, it proved something powerful. Rome was not invincible. Imagine the message this sent. If Rome could be challenged, if Rome could be forced into negotiation, then power was not absolute. The image of unstoppable empire cracked, even if only slightly. And that crack came from Africa. Today, the story of Amanirenas is not widely known. There are no Hollywood epics about her, no massive statues in Western capitals. But in Sudan, in the ruins of Meroë, her legacy remains. Pyramids still stand in the desert. Temple walls still whisper her name. She represents something deeper than a single war. She represents resistance, sovereignty, and the truth that Africa's history is far richer than most narratives admit. Rome remembered its victories, but Africa remembers its defenders. And among them stands a queen who refused to kneel. Queen Amanirenas, the African queen Rome couldn't break.